So that's some second talks. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this lecture, I have 3 points. The first one is give you some idea about field epidemiology. フィールドエピデミオロジーのその紹介ですよね、1本目が。2つ目が The second point is give you some idea about how the field epidemiologists think about communicable disease control and prevention。フィールドエピデミオロジストまたはパブリックヘルスプロフェッショナルと言い換えてもいいですけれども、その人たちが人の集団の中での感染症をどのように考えるかっていうのが2つ目の話。So that's this chart. So shall we move on to the third part? On this third part, it's some sort of very short group exercises. So maybe I'd like you to strengthen your understanding about communicable disease control and prevention among human populations. So this exercise is some simulated stories with case studies and disease transmission and control. Hope all you have some idea. Okay, so we have 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. If possible, if we have enough time, we'll move on to the part 2, but basically focusing on the part 1 of these exercises. The name of this exercise is disease transmission controls. Objective is, maybe here, you can read it later, but the main activities you are expected to do on this exercise is the part 1 is now we have several explanations of these situations. Disease land, the name of our world. ちょっとまた後で言います。And then on this disease land hypothetical countries in Africa, no, in Asia. So you are the epidemiologist or public health professionals of this hypothetical country, disease land, let's say so. And you are expected to prioritize or identify some priority diseases you have to work on based on some very limited information on these sentences. So that's some sort of the main activities of this morning. ですね、この家庭の国の中でちょっとプライオリティをセッティングしてもらいます。というのがエクササイズなんですね。Okay, so disease land objective, the aim of the exercise is to provide practical framework for understanding issues in disease control. They identify potential control method, assess these control measures for feasibility, availability, effectiveness, and cost. Now I'm reading in the front pages. Define a quantitative control objectives based on selected control measures and epidemiological data. However, now turn it over on part 1, page 2. So maybe you have some idea about disease land. It's a roughly speaking, it's a この貧乏な国です。It's a poor country, right? Typical developing countries with a classical disease and the population pyramid is like here. It's a lot of younger age groups. And as you see in the table 1, next page, page 3, it's a classical infectious disease, communicable disease, main care disease for children, not only for children, but also for other communities. So now you have some idea about the situation of communicable disease. Yeah, you have some systems or immunization program or HIV control programs, but we are not sure it's working well. まあ何らかのシステムあるようなんですね。イミュナイゼーションプログラムが HIV とか情報ありましたけど、ただそれがうまくいってるかどうかわかんない。And the next paragraph, it's not so directly linked with our exercises, but I explain a little bit. The next paragraph shows us some health system in this disease land, and it's a conventional system, central and regional or prefectural and locals. And the public health system is also there, 3 tiers, and also laboratory is also 3 tiers, and also private sector is going on. Private sector is still on, and the last part is private sector is growing, especially in urban areas, typically developing countries, with some part some special area is it's a rich area in poor countries. まあティピカルなこのディベロッピングまあ開発途上の国だということをイメージしてください。It's a typical developing countries, and as I mentioned, you are epidemiologists, public health practitioners, and the last part is you have asked by the Minister of Health, 厚生大臣、まあ保健省の大臣ですね。To look at the problem of infectious diseases in this country and to report back on a number of issues in disease control. とにかく、so ministry, health ministry is asking you several questions based on the table 1. Now you have information about table 1s. It's just a very simple, take a look on this. And there is some point, can I have say one point about table 1? 何かコメントをもらえます table 1? Whichever is okay. For example, which some disease is a high number of patients or
the prevalence of Japanese encephalitis
Japanese encephalitis.
is not like any other diseases.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Japanese, so he said JE, Japanese encephalitis. 日本脳炎ですよね。Japanese encephalitis, it's not like other diseases. We call epidemic prone diseases. That means 00 and 1000 and 00 epidemic prone.何か一つコメントもらえますか Can I have some comment on table 1? Okay, thank you very much. She said the number of malaria cases is increasing year by year. How about some from Thailand? Friend from Thailand? One comment. Just all we have is this table. Yeah. Yeah, looks like number of cases are increasing. But as you mentioned, we do not know because we do not have denominators and the time frame. But let's say in the bracket, parenthesis is a number of deaths, right? In terms of HIV/AIDS, it's a high case fatality rate. Right? For example, in 2000, 200 cases and 190 died. I'm not sure it is true or not. But anyway, so this is information all we have now. And the Minister of Health asked us to prioritize diseases. The page 3 below the table. Each participant should examine the information on table 1 and set up 12 diseases and to coin high, medium, low priorities for each disease. Thinking about disease impact, international elimination, and variability, affordability. 日本語で説明するとこの12の疾患をちょっとプライオリタイズしろ。どれが一番重要かこの国でっていうやつですね。Yeah. So the minister asked you to prioritize these 12 diseases, high, medium, low. So that's some activities you are requested in the past 10 minutes. This is the poor countries. So only 3 high priority diseases. Not 5, not 6, only 3 priority diseases. 貧乏な国だから3つの範は3つだけにしてくださいね。ということで、その座ったままでいいですから、ちょっとひっくり返ってもいいですから、ちょっとこれでこの3つのグループ考えてもらえますか。そして、after 5 minutes, you have only 5 minutes. 5分にしましょう。5 minutes. So some of the reporters of each groups will present here. Give me 3 highs. あとは medium, low は Okay, so today, this morning, we have a very severe time constraint. So let's say only give me high. So this group gave me 4 highs. Okay, この真ん中のテーブルは誰か。